Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Thursday, February 23, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want to access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Cleveland State versus Wisconsin Green Bay. When these schools last met, it was Cleveland State picking up an 82-77 win at home as favorites by the same -13 placed on this game. On their home court, Green Bay is 1-4 ATS when placed as double-digit underdogs. They're also 2-6 ATS in their last 8 games as double-digit underdogs overall. In the previous meeting, the Phoenix shot 52.1% from the field. You can't expect they will do that again, especially after shooting 36.3% overall in their last 4 games. They are ice cold down the stretch here, in Cleveland State, who shot 50% in that prior meeting, are hitting their season averages of late. Green Bay has scored just 56.5 points per game in their last 4 home games and is 3-7 ATS overall at home this season. The Phoenix have also lost their last 2 games by a combined 22.5 points per game. They just can't wait for this season to end, something Cleveland State should totally capitalize on. Take the Vikings -13 points. When these teams last hooked up, they combined to drop 159 points. So, why the small total on this game? Well, in large part because Green Bay is bad, very bad. Also, they shot 52.1% from the field in that game, which is insane for a team shooting just 39.6% overall on the year. Lastly, Ken Palm shows us the way via tempo ratings, with Cleveland State ranked 294th and Green Bay ranked 291st. That's a good sign that this won't be a track meet and that the high-scoring first match between these two was a bit fluky. Over their last 4 home games, the Phoenix had 1 game where they scored just 47 points and hit just 14 field goals against Oakland, and another where they hit just 11 field goals and scored a paltry 38 points on their home court. The last 2 times Cleveland State had a total of 135 or less, they have gone under. The last 4 game totals under 135 for Green Bay have gone under. Take the under 135 points. Northwestern versus Illinois. Taking Illinois to cover their spread in this one for multiple reasons. Illinois is the better team overall, ranking better in both offensive and defensive efficiency according to Ken Palm, and they love to play at home, boasting a 13-2 record. In terms of gameplay, we can expect the Fighting Illini to outpace Northwestern throughout the game, gaining them more possessions and more opportunities to score. Northwestern tends to work slowly and rely heavily on its defense, which will give them trouble in this one, as Illinois defense is even better than theirs. In terms of trends, Illinois has covered in their past 4 games following an against the spread loss, and in their past 4 games against a team with a winning record, making me confident in taking Illinois to cover their spread in this one. Take Illinois -5.5 points. Taking the under in this one for a couple of reasons. The last time these teams faced off, the game went 1 point under the total set at 134, which is lower than our given total here. I understand the season has gone on and both teams have improved, but I do not see much deviation from the average in this situation, and see those points above 133 as great value. Both teams are known for their defense and tend to play at a slower pace because of that, and both teams have a reputation for going under often. Northwestern has gone under in their past 6 games, and in their past 4 games against a team with a winning record, while Illinois has gone under in 10 of their last 11 games against a team with a winning record. These averages and trends make me confident in taking the under for this matchup. Take under 136 points. Southern California versus Colorado. While USC enters with a slightly better record, I'm taking Colorado to cover on their home court. For starters, the Buffaloes have had the Trojans' number in recent history, going 7-2 SU and 6-3 ATS in their last 9 meetings, per OddsShark. The key here for the Buffaloes is their defense, which is surrendering just 93.3 points per 100 possessions, 18th. I'll elaborate below on how the pace of the game will actually favor USC, but I think the game will be close and Colorado can lean on the defense to get a late stop and get the cover. As for their defensive shooting, the Buffs are limiting opponents to just a 42.0% shooting percentage, 67th. All things considered, with USC heading to a hostile environment with tournament ambitions on the line, I like for their offense to take a step back and for Colorado to secure the cover. I'm leaning toward Colorado in a close game, but I actually think their fast pace will favor USC throughout the game and lead us to an over. Colorado loves to play fast, exemplified by the fact that they average 69.8 possessions per 40 minutes, 72nd. If they're pushing the ball up the court consistently, it could open things up on the back end for an efficient USC offense. The Trojans are 52nd defensively, scoring 112.3 points per 100 possessions. Ultimately, as I was alluding to above, I like for Colorado to get a late stop and cover the spread. But if the Buffs are pushing the pace, this dynamic USC offense will keep pace and we'll see points add up quickly. Let's root for points in this one. Give me the over. Louisiana Tech versus Western Kentucky. There is a slight difference between these teams this season, as Louisiana Tech has a plus 1.47 rating, which is 150th in college basketball, up to this point according to Ken Palm's adjusted efficiency margin, while Western Kentucky is 170th in the sport with a minus 0.08 rating this year. Looking at the defensive side of things lately, there is a difference as well, with the Bulldogs allowing 75.5 points in their previous 4 games while the Hilltoppers are giving up 80 points in their last 3 games. Go with the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs to cover the spread on the road in this game. Both programs have been scoring the ball incredibly well as of late, as Louisiana Tech is scoring 71.3 points in their previous 3 games while Western Kentucky is averaging 77.8 points in their last 5 games. A huge reason is these teams' ability to shoot the 3 ball extremely well, as the Bulldogs are 115th in the country with a 35.23 point percentage so far, while the Hilltoppers are right behind them at 118th in college basketball with a 35.1 percentage from beyond the arc thus far. Go with the over 143.5 points in this game, as this seems to be the better option heading into this game. Long Beach State versus UCSB. When they played 2 weeks back, the Gauchos took a 75-72 win straight up and ATS as minus 1.5 favorites. They may have lost their last 3 games heading into this one, but Santa Barbara's last 3 opponents are all ahead of Long Beach in the standings. Both teams also played Riverside within the last 8 days, with the Beach losing by 12 and the Gauchos losing by 11. Santa Barbara is a very good shooting team and shot 50.9% from the field in the last meeting. But Long Beach had to work to keep up with them, shooting 47.5% themselves, above their season average. The Beach shot just 41.7% in their last game. Santa Barbara had a slight turnover advantage the last time these teams played, and if that margin grows, then this should be a lot different than the first meeting. Take the Gauchos minus 5.5 points. In the first meeting, these two tallied a combined 147 points, for the 8th over in the last 9 meetings between these schools. The Beach is ranked by Ken Palm as the top tempo team in the country, and Santa Barbara ranks 321st, so there is definitely a conflict in styles here. For some reason, Long Beach likes to show off on the road, with their last 5 games away from home averaging a total of 158.6 points per game. The over is 8-1 in Santa Barbara's last 9 games overall and 4-1 in Long Beach's last 5 games. Combined, these two teams have seen 28 of their games go over this year, and this will be another to add to their tallies. Take the over 146 points. Pacific versus St. Mary's. St. Mary's has now rattled off 3 straight wins after their first conference loss, and they should again be able to take care of business hosting Pacific. The Gales have a major edge on the boards as well as in terms of ball security. The Tigers' offense has relied on their outside shooting to keep them in ball games, but the Gales will be the best perimeter defense they've faced all year. St. Mary's will have no trouble scoring here and should do so in several ways. Pacific won't have such luck. Take the Gales at home. St. Mary's minus 18.5 points. This game will be a clear clash in style, as St. Mary's is one of the slowest teams in the country while Pacific is one of the faster tempo teams. With St. Mary's being at home and having a defensive edge, I expect them to control the pace of play here. Pacific has been poor on the glass, limiting overall shot production. St. Mary's has grabbed missed shots often, but they haven't always had success generating second chance points. The play is the under 136.5 points. UC San Diego versus UC Irvine. Although it means clinging to some flimsy support for this UC San Diego team, they are the only side I am looking to back here, as I can't trust Irvine at this number in this spot. With these close wins as big chalk the last two outings, there is a case to be made that they are just being complacent right now, may be their best case scenario. There may be signs of some leakage in terms of the Anteaters' deficiencies becoming more exposed, as 3 of the 5 wins during this winning streak have come by a single possession, all in games where they were basically expected to win by 3 or more possessions. That could be complacency, but it also could be slippage, and with a much bigger game on deck, all UC Irvine wants here is to scrape by with another win and keep everyone healthy and confident heading to Hawaii. Just too many points to give this UC San Diego team that's been a feisty road underdog all year, with that 8-4 ATS mark in that role. Our team pick ISUC San Diego plus 13.5 points. UC San Diego may not have too many attractive numbers statistically, but this 4-1 ATS run they are on in road games, 2-3 SU, is in large part to their defense doing enough to at least give their offense a chance late. The Tritons have allowed 76, 69, 72, 57, and 64 points in those 5 outings for an average of 67.6 pints allowed/game. That's nearly a full possession lower than the 70 pints allowed/game they've got on the road for the entire season. However, the problem with any underlean on this total is that it gets blown up pretty quickly, with UC San Diego's 7-3-2 OU record as a road dog, and UC Irvine 9-2 OU in home games this year. There is still a high likelihood we see the Anteaters get most whatever they want on offense, and if they are sharp from the outset, giving up 70 plus to UC San Diego won't faze UC Irvine in terms of just looking to get the outright win. The fact that UC Irvine is also coming off a game where an offense that averages 73.3 pints/game managed to put up just 59 is also rather supportive for an overplay as well. The Anteaters have finished in the 50s 3 other times this year, and they followed those outings by scoring 116, 79, and 83 points. Only the latter of those 2 games were lined, but UC Irvine was 2-0 OU in those outings, beating the total by an average of 11.75 points per game. Over is the only play for this total. UCLA versus Utah. The Utes have had a great season and have the defense to make a run in March, but right now they're dealing with too many key injuries to keep up with UCLA. The Bruins have covered the spread in 4 of their last 5 games, and are playing like they're capable of beating Utah by a wide margin once again. Worcester was the only Ute to have success against UCLA last month, and he's not expected to play on Thursday. UCLA has the interior presence to contain Carlson, which won't leave Utah with many other weapons. Utah has covered in just 1 of its last 6 games. That's not a trend you want to see when the nation's 4th-ranked team is next on your schedule. Give me the healthier, hotter team. I'm taking UCLA to cover. UCLA can really score the basketball, but the storyline here is defense. These are 2 of the top defenses in America, and it's going to be hard for both sides to get good looks. Beyond that, both teams play at a slow pace. The Bruins are number 248 in adjusted tempo according to Ken Palm, and the Utes are number 241. The under has hit in 5 of Utah's last 7 games, and 18 out of 28 overall this season. UCLA has seen the under hit in 3 of its last 4 games, and 15 out of 27 overall. Utah will most likely be without 2 key players who combine for more than 20 points per game. Utah faced UCLA with another key player missing from the lineup last month and only scored 49 points. Give me the under 131 points. Portland versus San Francisco. Taking San Francisco to cover their spread in this one for multiple reasons. San Francisco is the better team overall, ranking better in both offensive and defensive efficiency according to Ken Palm, and also enjoying the benefit of playing at home. The Dons' advantage on the defensive end should prove to be a determining factor in this game, with a slight edge helping them win and cover their spread. Portland has failed to cover in their past 6 games against a team with a winning record and has failed to cover in 7 of their past 8 road games. Meanwhile, San Francisco has covered in their past 4 games following a win, making me confident in taking San Francisco to cover their spread in this one. Take San Francisco minus 7.5 points. Taking the over in this one for a couple of reasons. Last time these teams faced off, the game went 30 points over the total set at 149, making the over very encouraging for this one. Both teams average and allow about 75 points per game on the season, and rank in the upper percentile in terms of adjusted tempo according to KenPom, meaning we can expect this total to be at least 150. San Francisco has gone over in 4 of their past 5 games following an against the spread win, and have gone over in 4 of their past 5 home games, making me confident in taking the over for this matchup. Take over 152.5 points. Washington State versus Stanford. Back at home with the revenge angle also applicable sets this spot off rather nicely for Stanford to come away with a victory. Both of these teams could be considered poster children for how drastic home/road splits can be for college basketball teams, and the fact that Washington State averages 67.4 points/game for the year, but that number drops to 61.7/game on the road suggests that home court should be weighed rather heavily here. I'm not one to disagree with any of that thinking, as Stanford's defense is also a much better unit home 63.7 allowed/game versus 67.8/overall. And if all those numbers hold true across the board, it's going to be Stanford ATS tickets that collect the money at the end of the night. Our team pick is Stanford minus 1.5 points. 3 straight games between these two teams have cashed under tickets with the scores topping out at 126 during that span. 5 of the last 6 meetings have finished with 135 or fewer points in them, and the lone outlier went well over the total thanks to odd. But with far less to play for at this point of the season for both sides, I doubt we see a similar slow-paced game like the first meeting that finished 60-59. The Cardinal have scored 70+ in 4 of their last 5 at home, and with the game in that pick'em range for the point spread, any number close to that for Washington State is more than enough. Odd is always more likely in games lined in that range, and that doesn't hurt the chances for this over to hit either. The Cardinal have gone over the total in 3 straight as they've gotten looser with their play on both ends of the floor, simply just playing out the stretch. Don't see much changing in that regard for this one, as we get another Stanford game finishing over the total. It would be the 6th time in 7 games that's happened for Stanford. Take over 135.5 points. San Diego versus Gonzaga. The spread is a bit too large for me to take Gonzaga at this point. Considering San Diego was a Hail Mary shot away from tying the game at regulation in their most recent performance, I think San Diego can stay within 20 points against Gonzaga. San Diego has only lost by more than 20 points twice this season. Ironically, once was to St. Mary's, and the other was to Arizona State. They have a good enough offense to keep themselves within the 22.5 point spread, and Gonzaga's defense surrenders only 5 points less than San Diego's on average. Finally, San Diego is a great free throw shooting team, and that might be enough to keep them within the 20+ point spread when all is said and done. Gonzaga is 9-22-2 ATS in their last 33 games overall. Take San Diego plus 22.5 points. Both teams have incredible offenses and subpar defenses, making it a showcase for a shootout. Gonzaga has reached triple digits in scoring frequently throughout the season, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did it again in this matchup. The two teams also play at fast tempos, resulting in more scoring opportunities. Since Jan 28, when they were held to 82 points by Portland, Gonzaga has scored at least 88 points or more to all their unranked opponents. Gonzaga has hit the over in their last 5 overall, and the Toreros have hit the over in 7 of their last 8 following an ATS win. Take the over 165 points.